This is your Biz to Biz with Joy, a weekly show where I interview men and women in business who are looking to connect with you, sharing their philosophy, platform, and how they serve you. Stay tuned. We love good company. See you soon. Cheers. Hello, welcome to Biz with Joy. Grow your business in style. Leaders leaving legacies, and tonight we're going to be talking about how you can unleash your inner power because you have it. Tonight, our special featured guest speaker is all about human design. I was introduced to this approximately 10 years or so ago and became more and more involved with it because it's so powerful. And once you get to know and understand it a wee bit, you're going to want to know more about it. So I'm going to ask you, I could go on and on about the background. She has unlimited experience, but what you're going to hear tonight is a good explanation about human design and how it can be so impactful for you and your life. So welcome. It's great to have you here always. And if you're here for the first time, make yourself comfortable, grab your whatever is going to be comfortable for you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm bringing up our featured guest, Raquel Raynor.
Hello.
Welcome. It is my pleasure to have you here because you know how much I value the work that you're doing. And human design, as new as it is, it's really old for some people, but there are a lot of people out here who are not familiar. So give us a synopsis of what human design is all about.
Yeah.
And welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Well, it combines sort of astrology and Myers-Briggs.
Yes.
It's a very deep knowledge of someone's truth. So it's exposing our shadows, our gifts, and assists us in the same way you would use a Myers-Briggs type assessment. It's an assessment tool, only much deeper and complex. So it merges the chakra system,
Yes.
the Kabbalah system,
Yes.
the modern day sciences like neutrino physics and quantum physics and the I Ching and astrology. I knew I was missing one.
Wow. Well, that's a lot. And
Yeah.
most people can't take all of that in initially.
Right.
And I would be one of
Right.
them.
Right.
What I know for sure with understanding and conviction is that it works.
Yeah.
So share with us, first off, before we go more into depth, because as I understand it, Raquel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there are 4 basic types and maybe 5 when we add one that's a sub of the other.
Yes.
But tell us, how did you come to this? No one really is interested in the backstory. They want to know how it's going to benefit them. But what brought you to this complete absorption and passion for human design?
Yeah. So I have always been on a pretty strong spiritual path. When I was in my 20s, I met a shaman. I've been studying with that shaman for, many, many years. And then, of course, I studied all types of energy healing and anything a little woo. I loved it. And then I got my master's in spiritual psychology, but I always sort of struggled with how do I have a career that sort of represents my truth. And so I got caught up in a career that I liked, but that it didn't actually represent all of me. It was fun and I enjoyed it. I was good at it, but it didn't, really, it wasn't on purpose. And so I was stuck there for, it was a lot, maybe a full decade. And, I made good money. I worked from home. I traveled all over the world. It was a wonderful upward climbing the corporate ladder. But I kept trying to leave and I kept wanting to have my own business. I kept wanting to do something that felt more aligned. And every time I tried, every time I pushed, every time I invested in programs and followed those programs, and, everything I did really did not work. I could not get my footing on how to sort of make that shift.
How
And
did how
yeah,
did you find this human design, and that for you gave you the shift that you were looking for? I heard
that
you
was
mention the
it.
shaman and the spiritual path. And what I want to get back to and talk about a wee bit before we go further, I love that word, a little bit of woo, because
Yeah.
even today there's a little bit of woo in it for many people,
Yeah.
especially those who are religious zealots. I get it. No, no shame there. No negative thrown that way. But what was a trigger for you? That's what we want to know.
Well, this was it. I was working for corporate and I wanted to leave. I was struggling, and it was at that moment during that transition I found out that I was a projector in human design. So that was the moment my life path, after years and years of studying and years of knowing about spirituality, knowing about law of attraction, but never really feeling like anything really helped me. So it was actually, it was Davidian. That was when we met,
Yes.
and he introduced me to human design, and it was kind of like this jaw-dropping moment of like, oh my god, that's me. I've been struggling with this my whole life. How did they nail me? How did this, how did I not know about this information sooner? And so it was that point during that transition that I learned about being a projector.
Yes, we're going to talk about the different types. But
Yeah,
before we do that, Raquel, you mentioned several. When it comes to cosmic healers and alternative modalities, it goes on and on and on. Most of us who are on the spiritual path, we've navigated through most all of them. What was it? Because astrology and tarot cards and intuitive readers and akashic there's so many.
yeah,
What was the key? What was the pivotal something that said to you, "Oh, they really know me"? Because astrology is that for some people. It was for me as a very young girl, and then others began to explore. What brought all of this together for you? Because you mentioned the law of attraction, you mentioned
yeah.
the chakra and all of the different modalities. What was the seed? What was it that happened when they explained to you what a projector is all about that
Yeah.
resonated to the marrow of your bone? What was that?
Yeah. So with human design, they share with you the strategy for each type. And they tell you that if you experiment with your strategy, your life just gets easier. Now, the some of the things I heard about being a projector had to do with the fact that we don't have as much energy. We get burned out very quickly. We're here to lead, guide, and direct, but most of the time we are not recognized for our genius. So most of the time we're not heard or seen. And I mean, I was plagued with that my whole life, feeling like nobody
Yes.
gets me, no one understands me. Every time I speak, they attribute it to somebody else, even though I said it. People steal my work. I've had work stolen since, I was a child, and all of these things really nailed me. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to experiment with their strategy. And if it starts working in my life, then I'm going to give this a little bit more
Juice.
credibility and I'm going
Yes.
to study it. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But here's what I'm also taking in. I take things
Yes.
in differently in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm going to remain cool, calm, and collective here because I want those who are out there to really receive what we're giving out. And we're going to talk about the four different types. But here's what I received that you just shared with all of us. We talk about our truth, our gifts, our natural abilities, easier to get into our zone of genius when we know. But what I heard was that key word for many people because astrology and all the other modalities maybe give you an inkling, but they don't give you the clear cut direction of how to get there. Am I hearing from you that this is what more or less you received from human design as you began to explore it? More of a sense of where your energies innately were taking you and where they would be best suited?
Yeah, it was learning a practicality. So it was
Mm-hmm.
learning how to practically live in this life, not just, spiritual experiences, not just seeing all of these beautiful things that could potentially happen, or connecting with, non-physical and having these amazing experiences. It was, how do we operate correctly as ourselves in this world, have a purpose-driven life as ourselves. So in other words, pay your bills, pay your mortgage, and be more aligned to a life that's going to feel inspiring, where you're going to feel on purpose, where you're going to feel where all of your gifts are being expressed. So before this time, I was like having a spiritual sort of insight and experience, but then I was kind of pushing it down because I had to go make money and pay the bills. And I really wanted to be myself all the time. But every time I would go to take action, I would follow, let's say, law of attraction. I'd go to take action. And as a projector, you realize that if you're going to initiate or take action, you're going to fail miserably. So
Well,
that really hit me.
I can receive that. I
Yeah.
receive that. I get that. Now is the time, really, based on what you just shared with us. Let's talk a brief overview of the types, and then we'll go more into detail about the different characteristics and traits of that type. So give
Yeah.
us the types. I know that we have our manifestors, we
Yep.
have our manifesting generators, we have
Yep.
our projectors, which you are one, and we have our reflectors. So give us an overview of the manifestor, and then we'll go on. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, so there's the generators is one, that is the manifesting generators, the subside of the generators. The
Yes.
manifestors are about 8 to 9% of the population. They are really the ones who have embodied the just do it mentality and trained everybody to go out and just do it, because they're the only type that will have results in that way. But remember what I said, it's only 8 or 9% of the population. So then
Okay.
you have
Let me hear that again. 8% would be your generators or manifestors. Which one?
the
8%.
manifestors.
The manifestors, 8% manifestors. That's a small percentage. Okay. I
Right.
wanted not to mix the two of them up. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
So then we have 70% that are generators. Okay. So 70% of the population are generators, and they're really conditioned to go out and just do it. We're all conditioned to be manifestors. We have this idea that we have to go out, manifest things. But the generators, and then the subtype of that subtype is the manifesting generators. Those two make up 70% of the population, but their auras are the same. So the generators and manifesting generators, their aura is actually like an attracting beam. So they're pulling in what they need, they're pulling life to them. And if they go out and initiate, then they are met with frustration. So yes.
Hold on for just a second. You're giving us lots of juice here. I like the word juice. I have juice and stuff and all these crazy words. What is the difference between, we'll get a little bit into semantics here, between the generator and a manifesting generator? Qualify for us the difference before we go forward.
Yes. So the generator and manifesting generator have the same aura, in that their strategy of waiting to respond is going to be similar for both of them. The difference between the manifesting generator is they have a motor directly up to the throat, which means that they actually manifest more quickly. They are able to multitask. They have a slight tendency to also have the manifestor energy, because it's manifesting generator. So they take on the qualities of manifesting, as long as they learn how to first respond. And also they understand a little bit about how the informing works for them. So they're very similar. There are differences. They're a little bit faster. They have a lot more ability to take on different projects. So for our manifesting generators, sometimes we see high-end coaches tell people to create a niche. And for manifesting generators, that's going to be probably pretty problematic because they're really good at multitasking and having lots of different niches and having lots of different things that they're really involved in. So why I say it's really important for anybody who's running a business or investing to kind of know your basics of your design chart first, because not every tool will work for you. Not every modality will work for you depending on what and who you are. So that's really important for manifesting generators and generators. You need to learn how to wait to respond.
I think that's major, Raquel, and I think that's major for this reason. You said this initially when we started out, and the way that you said it, I want to piggyback on that. In this business of working, particularly online, it's about go, action, action, do, bring them in. Well, if that's not your DNA, if that's not a part of your makeup, then that's not going to work for you. And as long as you're out there doing your connecting and relationship building, you wait for things to happen, and that can be very what's the right adjective for people? It's not pleasant, maybe. But tell us, because that's a good description between the generator and the manifesting generator. Now, tell us a little bit about the manifester and the projector.
Right. So the projectors are about what is it, 20% of the population, around there.
Yes.
And the projectors are here to actually lead, guide, and direct. So they're more of the directors. The manifestors are the starters. They're the just do it starters. And then the projectors are the directors. The generators, the MGs, would be the creative force, the actors, all of the people behind the scenes, if we're talking movie analogy here.
Yes.
So the projectors would be more the director. They're going to be directing things, seeing things, overseeing. And the key for a projector is that their strategy is to wait for the invitation. So projectors have a lot of wisdom. They're here to lead, guide, and direct. But if they're trying to present their wisdom or they're trying to lead without the invitation, then what happens is they're putting the energy out, and instead of them getting anything back, people just steal their ideas, they steal their wisdom, and they are not recognized. So it saves their energy. It creates a huge opening for them to be successful if they learn how to see the recognition, see the invitation first, then the doors open. And if they're trying to hustle and trying to get stuff done, they're going to be very bitter.
What is the difference? I might have missed something. What is the difference between the projector waiting for the invitation and the manifesting generator and generator waiting? What's the difference
Waiting
in
to
those two ways?
respond. Yeah, so the response is a lot easier, happens much more quickly.
Did
So
you say
waiting
waiting for the response? Waiting for the response,
yes,
not the
yes,
waiting for the response. Okay.
waiting for the response. So for generators, when you wait to respond, what that means is that you're waiting for an outside synchronicity to confirm your direction. So if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, you have a lot of ideas and you're like, oh, I think I'm going to write a book. I want to do an online course. I think I'm going to do my photo shoot or whatever. What you want to do is wait before you take action on all those ideas until you get the outside confirmation. Someone says, hey, I've been waiting for your book. Then you're like, boom, that's my next direction. So it saves a lot of energy, frustration, and such.
That was a very good and clear response, because when we talk about waiting for the invitation and waiting for the response, most people, as I did, would kind of lump them together. And yet the way that you explained it, they're vastly different. I appreciate that. I'm going to take a quick little break here, Raquel.
Okay.
And when I come back, I want to talk about the reflector,
Okay.
and then give us more information about how and why this is so valuable, that each and every individual on this planet needs to know and understand that. So hold tight, and I'm going to be back with you in just a second. This is so potent for every human being on the planet. For those who are on that spiritual path and want to know more about why they're here and what you're to do and what your assignment is, there's no better way to find out and discover that than through human design. And it is something that will give you much more ammunition than all the others, and they're all good. It's good when they're combined, though. Let me invite you tomorrow, not tomorrow, Thursday, to my masterclass, which is going to be on the 26th. And it's going to be something that I want you to take a snapshot here. If you haven't gone already to my Facebook business page, I'll put that link up in a second, and go there and register for this event, because we're going to be talking about who are you and how you show up, the pride that you take in you, and how you are discovering the style, the signature style that fits your persona best and is different for everyone. Like this human design is different for everyone, even though you might have 4 or 5 different human design manifesting generators in the same room, they're all going to be quite unique and different. And that's what we're going to talk about a wee bit here. So you can go here and register. Just take a screenshot and go and register for this event. And also on my Facebook business page, which is here, if you go there, it'll take you automatically. And I would love to see you. I keep saying March. It's May the 26th at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I would love to see you there. So I want to go back now, and I want to discover a wee bit more about human design, which, if you don't know, I'm absolutely ape over, because I know it works and it's very, very powerful. And Raquel and her significant other introduces so many people to the possibilities that are waiting for them to awaken. So share with us a little bit about the reflector, and then we'll go on and go back.
Yeah, so the reflectors are very rare. They're the unicorns in human design. They're 1% of the population. And they are, if we're back to the movie analogy, they would be the film critic. So they'd be the one person in the audience, all those people who created the movie, and they would be taking the temperature. This movie was great, it was really in alignment, or this was not good. So the reflectors are tasting, sampling, reflecting the environments that they're in. They really need to be in the right environment, and they are very, if reflectors understand human design, it's a life changing for them, because it's really, they're very unique, they're very sensitive.
I thought I had this undercover, but I didn't know that was such a small percentage.
Right.
1%
Yeah.
of the 4 different majors.
Yep.
Why? Now, I know a little bit about the history of how this human design all came about. Why is that such a small percentage? Because you said they're the unicorns. I like that expression. But why?
Why are they? It just is part of the how all of the pieces fit together. So their whole centering system is undefined, and it's just a matter of statistics, really, that it's very hard to not have all of the circuitry lined up. So it's just how the stars aligned.
Well, I get that.
Yeah.
But most of us, Raquel, we need analogies and examples just to have as a point of reference. So what I'll be doing right after you and I say so long for now is finding out of that 1%, anybody, because unfortunately, and sad to say, and I love Hollywood and entertainment business, but most everybody goes to see which in that circle, that group, that tribe would be a reflector.
Oh,
And
okay.
I can't think of anyone
I
initially.
do. I know a couple reflectors.
Give us some names.
So Michael Jackson is reflector.
Ah,
So he, to me, kind of represents, to me, somebody who reflects the music industry.
yes.
We love Michael Jackson. I think that sometimes he struggled with, he died of a drug overdose. He struggled with feeling insecure with all of his plastic surgery. I mean, not to go into his whole thing, just, the obvious stuff. What that would show me is that there are some dark sides to the music industry. And so even though he may be so famous and had so many amazing things happen in his life, he also represents the underbelly of what it happens in the music industry. That's one example.
Raquel, that's a brilliant example, because you gave us the good, the bad, and the so-so. I don't
Right.
like to say the ugly. And
Right.
when it comes to a reflector, obviously he was way ahead of his time, and the sensitivity that was there for
Yep.
the key knowing about certain things, obviously there.
Yep.
Brilliant,
Yep.
brilliant.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
largest percentage of the human design grouping would be the manifestors and the generators, manifesting generators, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
80%. Wow.
Yep.
How has your life changed since you embraced and accepted that you are a projector?
Yeah. Well, everything became easier for me. So as I was going through this transition from corporate to my own career, I had a lot of hiccups there. Until I finally surrendered and I said, you know what? I'm gonna just quit everything and study human design because nothing else explained what was happening for me. I went deep into I'm an investigator too. So there's also the profile without bringing in a bunch of other pieces.
I would,
I'm a 5-1, which is a teacher investigator. So I love to investigate. So I went deep into the investigation and studied. And all of a sudden, as I experimented with living my design, I was able to only follow the correct invitation when I was recognized. And as I did that, the doors began to open. And as I began to unravel from the generator world, meaning the process of deconditioning, and I began to lean into where I was recognized, that's when the doors start to open for me. My life got easier and the flow began to happen for the very first time in my life, really.
yes, I hear you, and I have received what you're sharing with us. And this is what I want to end with, because I know for a fact, with certainty and conviction, that human design is absolutely spectacular in so many ways. You used the key word there, follow. You used another word earlier, direction. It certainly gives you that. So, what I want you to do now is help me to close us out and
Yeah,
share. I'm going to run your link across, which is your call to action for those who want to have more information
yeah,
about what you're offering, and just share with us a little bit about that, and then your pearls of wisdom before you say so long for now. I will make you solo, and I will run across your tip.
sure.
Mhm.
So, what this is the manifestation by design. So, a lot of us want to have the life on purpose. We want a career, we want the right relationship, we want to make sure that we are on purpose in whatever job or business that we have. We've heard of law of attraction, we've invested in high end coaches. People want to improve themselves and have a life that they love. So what this link is an opportunity for you to get my free class. It's a free class. Just if you click on the link, about manifesting a life that you love based on your uniqueness. So I go through the strategies, I go through each type and show you how you can create whatever it is you need. Health, relationship, all of these things are helped when you learn how to integrate your uniqueness. Because if you just look at motivational tools, you just look at law of attraction, it will work for some people, but it will not work for everybody and it will not work all the time. So it really helps with the frustration factor if you learn how to integrate this piece of manifesting by design. So that's what this link is.
I like that. And that's a good way to start. And I like what you said about finding your gifts and your purpose, because that's what everybody's searching for, Raquel. I'm
Right.
constantly asking myself and others, who are you really at your core? And this, above any and every that I've discovered, with few exceptions, will give you that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
The time flies here, it's gone. So until we connect the next time, and we will soon, thank you for sharing. And my
Thank
prayer is
you.
that people will want to connect and find out a little bit more about their human design. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right,
everyone.
you are most welcome. Can't tell you how much this will be a revelation for you if you've not done it. And my friends, it's not enough just to gather the chart and get the chart. You need someone to help you to reveal it to you so that you have a clear understanding of what's all involved, because it's a little bit more complicated than we've kept it tonight, very simplistic. But once you delve into it, you will be embraced in the best way. So may I say, it's always a pleasure to be with you. It's great when you can show up. I know that everybody's plate is overflowing. So I'm going to invite you to stay tuned, stay connected. And if you still wear the mask and join me again, like soon tomorrow night. Another phenomenal, fantastic lady to greet and meet with you. Be well and take care. Sending your way always much love. So long for now. Cheers. We appreciate you. Every week you will meet professional men and women who stand out in the crowd, growing their business in style online. Join us each week. Want to be a guest? Let's make it happen. Connect with me on my website. All the best. Cheers.